Summary: a lonely witch waits deep in the wilderness, bound to an ancient promise. Grant 3 wishes to whoever manages to find her. Centuries pass in silence, her existence reduced to waiting for strangers who only seek power, wealth, or revenge. Then a young man finds her. Chapter 1: The Weight of a Breath. The climb had taken 3 days, 2 whetstones, and more blood than Hiro cared to count. At 18, Hiro's body was a map of fresh ambition and stubbornness. But at this altitude, the air was thin enough to sting, tasting of old snow and silence. He hauled himself over the final jagged lip of the peak of morning, his boots skidding on stone polished smooth by centuries of wind. He didn't stand, not yet. He simply laid there, his chest heaving, watching the steam of his own breath vanish into the thin air. He was a creature of heat and effort, and this place was anything but. Go back. The voice didn't come from the wind. It was deeper, like the hum of a bell struck deep underground. Hiro pushed himself up, his muscles screaming in protest. He used his sword, a battered, notched length of steel, as a cane to steady his trembling legs. He wiped a smear of dried red from his cheek, his dark hair plastered to his forehead with sweat. There, at the center of a circle of white lilies that never wilted, sat the witch. She was exactly as the old scrolls had promised, terrifyingly beautiful and impossibly still. She sat on a throne of uncarved obsidian, her hair a spill of midnight silk against the pale frost of her skin. Her eyes were the color of a dying star, violet, cold, and heavy with the weight of ages. She didn't look like a woman, she looked like a monument to the concept of longevity. "You have the scent of a boy who has killed to get here," she said, her gaze never wavering. "And the wounds of one who should have died 10 miles back. Speak your wish, swordsman. Do you want the crown of the kingdom you left? The head of an enemy? Or perhaps you'll ask for immortality?" Hiro took a shaky step forward. He didn't look at the gold coins scattered in the frost, left by previous pilgrims. He didn't look at the skeletal remains of those who had reached her and died of exhaustion. He looked at her, and he did something no one had done in 300 years. He laughed. It was a dry, raspy sound, but it was warm, full of the life only an 18-year-old could carry. "I've spent my whole journey being told you were a monster, or a goddess," Hiro panted, sheathing his sword with a metallic clack that sounded like a gunshot in the silence. "But looking at you now, you just look bored." The witch's eyes narrowed. A faint shimmer of blue light flickered at her fingertips, a spark of power that could turn the mountain to glass. "You trifle with eternity, mortal." "No," Hiro said, finally standing tall. He reached into his pack and pulled out a small, bruised apple he'd been saving. He tossed it lightly in the air and caught it. "I'm making a choice. I found the wish granter. I've earned the right to ask for anything." "Then ask," she hissed, her patience fraying like a rotted rope. "I wish for you to keep your magic," Hiro said, his eyes bright with a sudden, stubborn fire. "And I wish to put my request on hold. Down in the valley, they're holding a festival. There's bad wine, loud music, and the smell of roasting meat. I think you should come with me." The witch froze. The blue light at her fingers sputtered and died. For the first time in centuries, the constant of the mountain felt a flicker of something she couldn't name. "You would waste 2 of your 3 wishes. On a walk?" "It's not a waste if the company is good," Hiro replied, extending a calloused, scarred hand toward her. "The sword stays at my hip to keep the road clear. Your wish stays in my pocket. What do you say, witch? Are you tired of the silence yet? Also, may I have your name? It feels wrong calling you a witch." She looked at him, startled, then spoke. My name is Liliana." The name felt heavy in the air, like a secret that had been kept underwater for too long. She looked at her own hands as if surprised she had spoken it at all. Hiro didn't pull his hand back. He let it hang there between them, a bridge of warm skin and fresh scars waiting for her to cross it. "Mine is Hiro," he said, his voice dropping the playful edge for something softer, more grounded. "Just Hiro. No titles, no family crests. Just a guy with a sword who's tired of climbing mountains." He flashed a grin that didn't reach for her power or her mystery, but simply for her. "Liliana," he repeated, testing the syllables. "It's a good name." Sounds like the flowers you've got growing up here, only less frozen. Liliana rose from her obsidian throne. She didn't move like a human, she glided, her dark robes flowing around her like ink dropped into clear water. She stopped just inches from his outstretched hand. She was taller than she looked while sitting, her violet eyes searching his face for the lie she was certain must be there. "You are a fool, hero," she whispered, though the bite in her voice had been replaced by a strange, fragile curiosity. "In 50 years, you will be gray. In 80, you will be dust. I will still be standing on this peak, and I will still be exactly as I am now. To walk with me is to chase a sun that will never set, while your own light flickers out." Hero's grin didn't fade. He closed the distance, his fingers finally brushing against her cold, porcelain-like skin. "Then we'd better start walking," he said, his eyes locking onto hers. "We're already wasting daylight, and I hear the meat skewers at the festival sell out by sunset." Liliana looked at his hand, then at the bruised apple he still held, and finally at the notched sword at his hip. Slowly, with the hesitation of someone stepping onto thin ice, her fingers curled around his. Her hand was like ice. His was like a furnace. "Then lead the way, swordsman," she said, her voice regaining its melody. "Show me this world you find so precious."